Okay, I think we're recording now. Great. Okay, so this is what you should have had by the end of last class, and this, I don't know if you guys can see my camera as well. If I switch over to this, I go like this. There we go. So you can, yeah, and this camera often gets a really bad video delay, but we just have to try to work with it. But each one of these buttons should turn on the LEDs, right? Or turn them off. And we have these set to toggles right now, right? And if I also pressing the physical button itself will turn on the LED as well. All right. And yeah. So the way that is working is the values are coming in from this serial. We select just the first line of it. We convert it into a table. Then we send that to just a null. And then we do a dat execute that actually sends these values here to button in 1, button in 2, button in 3, which are right here are these constants, right? And these constants are also attached. There's an override between each button here and the constant, so that if you click this, it does the same thing as what's coming in from the Arduino. So there's an override on each channel, so either one of these things will do the same thing, and then that gets sent to a merge that puts it into one big chop, one 3-channel chop, right? And then that is converted to a DAT. Then with that is converted to a single line with concatenated with a comma. And then using an evaluate DAT, we just add the less than symbol to that, because the way with the Arduino code, the way it works is it's expecting a less than symbol as the start of the message and a greater than symbol as the end of the message. So it just adds the less than symbol. Then it converts that text to a table again, so that it actually has both a zero row and a 0 column. And then that's referenced by this execute dat that on every single frame sends the contents of that. So op serial1.send, that's the serial operator, and what it's sending is the contents of op convert 3 cell 0, 0, that's just this only cell that's here, comma with the argument terminator, which is built into the .send function. You can send a terminator character along with that, and that terminator character is that greater than symbol, which is what the Arduino is expecting to be able to create its to be able to parse that message into the 3 integers and send that to the digital rights to turn on the lights, right? So that's what you should have had done before this class. And so we're going to continue on from there. First thing we want to do is we're going to make some circles to visualize this in our performance window, these 3 LEDs. I mean, we can rely on the Arduino, but a lot of you don't have the Arduino working, or you didn't get your Arduino. So we're going to make a software system for doing the same thing. So the first thing we want to do is add some circle tops. Aren't they called circle?
First row.
First row edge. Why am I not seeing it?
You're looking for circle top?
Yeah.
First row.
I'm putting in circle and everything's disappearing.
Circle. Go to C.
It's right there.
First row.
Oh, first column, you mean?
Yeah.
You said first row.
Sorry.
All right, so here's the circle. We want to first of all, instead of using the output resolution of use input, we're going to put this as a custom resolution, and we're going to set it to the output resolution of our panel, which is like 1280 by 800, I believe. 1280 by 800. Right, now we're going to go back to the circle and change its radius to, what did I have it at? Radius, ooh, am I on the wrong tab now? Oh, 200 by, change this to from fractional aspect to simple pixels, and change this radius from 512 to 200 by 200. Okay, so then you should have a white circle like that. We're going to change the fill color. We're going to change it to red. Okay, and let's go ahead and, whoops, go away. There we go. Now let's go ahead and move this circle over. So let's see here. We want it to be centered at negative 0.32. Like that. Okay, now go ahead and copy this, paste it 2 more times, and put them next to each other. And this one, you can change the center back to 0 on the X. That'll put it in the middle. And this one, we're going to put the center at positive 0.32. So that'll put it at the end. And then this middle one, what color do you think I'm going to change this to? Green.
Green.
There we go. All right. And then this one, what color do you think I'm going to change this to? Somebody shout it out.
Blue.
No, thank you. All right. So now to actually get these to all render on the same screen, we want to connect them together like that. Right? And so you can see by the third circle, you can see all 3 circles. And now, if all we're doing is working in tops, if we don't have any SOPs, we don't need like a render top, and we don't need a camera and a light. We can just send this right out. So we can just right click on this circle output here, this third circle output, and send it to an out. Because if you remember, the render process for rendering SOPs, like all that does is it creates a top at the end of the day, and then that top goes to an out. So we're just working in tops, and we're just going to send it out. We don't need any render. So now if I go into perform mode, we can see those 3 circles. Okay? Now, we just need to apply the values coming from these buttons to the opacity of each one of these circles fill color. Right? So does anybody want to guess how I would do that?
Opacity?
Here on
Wait,
fill alpha,
sorry,
right? So fill alpha on this circle 1, I can change that to an expression, and then I can choose. There's a couple different places we can do it, but probably the best one is right here where we have this going to a chop 2, which has all 3 of these values going to a different cell. So I can reference each one of those cells. And the reason why you want to do that, as opposed to like doing this override here, which was the other idea I had, I could like reference this override or this override and this override, but that wouldn't, when we plug in the Simon playback, it's not going to go to those buttons. It's going to go like in between this merge and this chop 2. So I'm going to reference this chop 2's different cells here. So how would I do that? Anybody want to guess? If I wanted to use this 0 in cell 0, 0 to control the alpha, the fill alpha of this circle 1, what would I put here? I can tell you at least.
Is that the code that you?
Go ahead.
Was there a code that you used for like in one of um the op op chop to one and then just do the bracket thing that you
Yeah,
do like
the
zero
bracket
zero?
thing, right, right, exactly. Zeros, you got it. Great. 0, 0, right? So 0, 0, because that points to this particular cell, right? And because we're creating zeros and ones, that makes that alpha either be 100% opaque or 100% transparent. So right now when I do this, so it's op, open parentheses, single quote, chop to 1, because that's the name of this, whoops, this chop here. Chop to 1, and then open bracket 0, comma 0, because that points to this particular cell. And see how it disappeared. Now, this one, same thing. I can just, actually, let's just grab this code, and on circle 2, go to expression and paste it in. And instead of 0, 0, what would this one be? We're going to be looking at this cell right here, which is 0 and what's that? Anybody?
0, 1, right?
0, 1, thank you.
Wait.
And then this one here, same code, so fill alpha, go to expression, paste in that code, and it will be 0, what?
3, 2.
2, thank you, because it's counting from 0. There, so now we have 3 circles. And if I go into perform mode, oh, are all of our buttons are sitting right on top of each other. We got to fix that next, but if at least I can push 3 because it's here. And I push 3 and it'll turn on and off. And my physical LED is turning on and off as well. All right, so let's fix those buttons. So let's go ahead and toggle all your buttons on for now. If they're set on, hopefully they're still set on toggle instead of momentary. You toggle all of them on, then we should be able to see these. Let's adjust. So I'm going to use, instead of the perform mode, I'm going to use this square open viewer, which gives me a window, and I can still edit at the same time. And we're going to change the size of these LEDs, buttons rather, make them a little bit bigger and move them. So here on layout, let's make this like 200 by 100. And this one 200 by, whoops. I have to turn it off viewer active to be able to go into the thing. So width 200 by 100. And this one is layout 200 by 100. All right, so now let's move them so they are underneath the thing. So this is the third one that I'm on, LED 3. I'm just going to slide this X until it's underneath it. I'm going to slide up the Y a little bit like that. There we go. And now I'm going to click on button 2. Whoops, button 2. Slide its X over. And the Y up. And this one, slide it over a little bit and up a little bit. Okay. Also, let's see, can I adjust the text in here or do I have to go inside? I think I have to go inside.
The button text?
Yeah.
You did the code where you can just change the name.
Yeah, that's true, but to get the size, the font size of the text, I think you still got to go inside. So if I hop inside this button and I click on BG1, here's something I found the other day that I forgot about. So display method, it says bitmap. If I change this to automatic and then I can change this where it says auto size font. I can say auto fit always. Oh, that's terrible though. Auto fit if too large. No. Auto fit always. All right, never mind. That doesn't really work for what we want. So put it back to bitmap and then just drag this auto fit. No, sorry, this font size. Why is it not changing the font size? Oh, it is. There we go. Okay. Then drag up the font size so it's bigger. There we go. So like 29. Maybe I can do 30. That'll be a nice round number. Yeah, that works. Okay. All right, so now I can grab the LED2, go inside of it, and on this BG here, go to the font tab and change the font size to 30. There we go. And LED3. BG font size to 30. There we go. That looks better. All right. I better save this pretty quick before things start crashing. So I'm going to say file. Actually, I'm going to save as. And this is going to be week 13 class. I'm going to say Simon so I know what it is. All right. So now we got this, and if I go into this, I can turn these on and off. I could probably format these buttons a little bit better so that they actually line up. Right now, they're kind of all a little bit different. Well, the first thing we want to do, let's turn these back to, let's turn them to momentary instead of toggles. So here under button, each one of these, go to the button type from toggle down, turn them to momentary. Make sure they're off. Momentary. There we go. Ah. This one, go away. Button type momentary. All right, once you do that, you should be able to just make them viewer active, and so you can click on them on this screen if you want, or you can click on them on the others in performance mode. So now they turn on when I'm clicking them. When I let go, they go away. And if you have an Arduino that's working, the lights on your Arduino should be lighting up as well. All right. So let's see. Next thing we need to do is create our combination DAT table to store our values. Sorry. All right, here we go. So down here, we're going to make a DAT table. And just call this combo. And then let's go open the parameters for that. And let's see, change this to exact dimensions on. And we want just 2 rows. One of them is going to be what is entered. The other is going to be what the combination is supposed to be. And number of columns, 3. So why is this saying 0, 1, and 2? Where's the third? Oh, 0, 1, and 2 is 3. Sorry. 4. We want 4 because the combination is 4. I'm going to do 4 numbers as the combination. I forgot. Okay. So for now, let's just type in some values for this, what we want the combination to be. So let's do 1, 2, 3, and then there is no 4 because we only have 3 buttons. So let's do 1, 2, 3, 1. Actually, let's do 1, 2, 3, 2. So that's what we're going to want it to equal. When the people enter them in, sorry, when you click the buttons, you should, when we build this system, you'll see the button that you pressed populate this table from left to right. So the first thing it'll do is it'll populate this with a, if you hit the first button, it'll be a 1. If you hit the second button the second time, this will be a 2. If you hit the third button the third time, this will be a 3. And then if you hit the second button the fourth time, this will be a 2. All right, so to be able to do that, let's see. First, we need to like create values. We need to create values for each of these buttons coming off of this merge channel. So we've done this before, I believe. We used an expression chop, and we had like multi-channels and like multiplied the number coming off the button by, I think we did this in the slot machine actually to add money to things. We had the $1, the $10, and $5 and the $10. It's essentially the same thing, but I found a little bit more elegant way of doing it. If you go inside the button here, one of your buttons, doesn't matter which one, why don't you grab this expression chop here called I. Copy that. Don't cut it or delete it. Just copy it. And let's paste it out here. Okay. And now attach this output from the merge into that expression. And if I press the first button, that'll send a 1. If I press the second button, it sends a 2. When I press the third button, however, it doesn't do anything. Right? So it started to do this correctly. Let's go ahead and actually name this. Instead of just calling it I, let's call it, what do I call it? I think I call it button value. Yeah, button value. All right, let's take a look at this expression in here and how it works. So if I click on expression and I go expand this, so it's looking at me.input value. So that's the number that's coming in, which is going to be either a 0 or a 1. And it's going to add 2 to that times the input looking at a specific channel, 0, 1, and 0. So if you press the first button, this is, when I press this, it's saying the value coming in is 1, plus 2 equals 3, times the input, so plus, sorry, what is that doing? The inputs 0, 1, and 0. So that's the first input, the second, the first channel. So it's saying, let's see. I had this figured out, and I can just put it in the code, and it totally works. But I'm trying to figure it out so I can explain to you how it's working. So it's the input value plus 2 times whatever. Basically, because of order of operations, it's like having a parentheses around this, right? So like, yeah, that's still the same. So it's 2 times the inputs 0, 1, 0. So that is input channel 0, input channel 1, plus the input channel 0. So I think they were getting added together, plus 2 times 1. So the input value plus 2 times 1, so that's 2 on the second one. I give up. I can't remember exactly how this works, but I did know how to fix it. So this works for 0 and 1. I'm sorry, for 1 and 2. And if I want to add a third, all I have to do is say plus 3 and grab this same code again. Actually here, just grab where it says plus 2 times input 0, 1, 0. Grab that and then paste it here. So it says, let me see if I can expand this so you can see the whole thing. There we go. Input value plus 2 times me input 0, 1, 0 plus 3 times me dot inputs 0, 2, 0. That will give me a 1 when I press the first button, a 2 when I press the second button, and a 3 when I press the third button. And I thought I had this in my mind how it worked, but I can't recall right now. So it definitely works by multiplying the value that's coming in times the specific channels that are enumerated here on this me inputs, right? And I'm not exactly sure exactly how that works, but it does. And I'll try to figure that out and give you a follow-up next week on that. Yes, question.
I did the same code as yours, and but then when I press my third one, it still doesn't show anything on my button value.
So this is the code you have: me input value plus 2 plus me inputs 0, 1, 0 plus me dot inputs 0, 2, 0. Make sure that that's plus 3 times me inputs 0, 2, 0. Make sure this is what you should have added to the code.
Yeah, and oh, whoa, I don't know what happened. Yeah, that's what I have, but the only thing is my channels per expression right now shows 1 instead of yours is showing 0. I don't know how to change that.
So how many channels per expression do you have here?
Right now it's 1 and it's showing blue.
When you don't have any buttons pushed, do you have any buttons toggled on right now? Make sure all your buttons are toggled off. And they should all be momentary buttons, so they should be zeros.
Yeah, they are right now. I don't know why my channels per expression right now is like blue. Even if I exit the expression, even if I minimize that.
What happens is that these get like added together. So like if I hit 1 and 2 together, that's creating a 3. And if I hit 1 and 3 together, that's creating a 4, right? And if I hit 2 and 3, it's creating a 5 because it's adding them together. So what I was asking you is to make sure that all of these buttons here are toggled to off. But there's nothing that's on.
Yeah, they're off.
They're all off.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead and share your screen really quick. Let's take a look at yours.
TouchDesigner share. It's this part. I'm on my button value up, and my channel per expression right here is showing.
That shouldn't be blue.
It's like, yeah, I don't know why it's blue. And
oh, you put it in the wrong place. Grab that code, cut it, click that back to the gray button next to that blue button. There you go. Now go to your expression channel, your expression tab, and put that in there.
Oh.
All right. You just put it in the wrong place.
Okay, got it.
All right.
Thank you.
Cool. All right, so let me start screen sharing again. Okay, so yeah, now we got this button value thing. What we need to do now is create a system for placing the sequence of buttons that you press into this combination. And the way we have to do that is we have to create like a counter that's going to go from 0 to 3 and then get reset back to 0 again, so that we can reference which cell to put this in. So the first time when the counter gets to 1, we stick it in this first cell. When it gets to 2, we stick it in this second cell. When it gets to 3, we put it in the third cell, which is, everything is 1 less because it counts from 0. When it gets to 4, we stick it into the 4th cell, and then we go back to the beginning again. So we need a counter chop to do this. Count chop, and you can just attach the output of the button value, output of the button value directly to the top input of this count. And then every time I press a button, it'll start counting. It's going to keep counting up. It doesn't matter which button I press, it'll just keep going. It doesn't care whether it gets a 1, a 2, or a 3 in its input. It's only looking about getting values above 0. And that will trigger a new count, right? So what we're going to want to do is have it count up, and then when it gets to, we're going to have a chop exec attached to this, and when it gets to 4, it'll pulse this reset back to 0, along with doing some other stuff. So let's see here. To do that, we need to attach a chop exec to this count, which is a DAT. And we can just leave it on value change. And because that's what we're going to use. We're going to use changing values. We can actually get rid of these other definitions. We won't be using those. So we just have on value change. And in here, first thing we're going to say is if op single quote count 1, I believe that's what it's called, single quote, and then it's channel, which we'll just reference its index number, so it'll be the 0 channel, the first channel, is, let's see. So let's just say, let's do this first. So let's say equals 4, then colon, then a tab, then we have to reset it back to 0 again. So we're going to do that by saying right here, yes, op count 1 dash single quote dot par dot reset pulse dot pulse. And basically whenever you see a and here I'll show you that in count 1, whenever you see a button next to a parameter like this reset pulse and you see the word pulse, the way you activate that is you point to the parameter, which is called par.resetPulse. Right? If I expand this, you can see it's called reset pulse. And then you call this null operation called pulse, which is .pulse open close parentheses. And that is the same as pushing this button in the parameter window. So now this should just roll over. Once it'll go 0, 1, 2, 3, then back to 0 again. 1, 2, 3. Back to 0. 1, 2, 3, back to 0. Okay, so that's the first thing we're going to do. But the next thing we need to do is actually start putting the values in that table. So we're actually going to do this for last. We want to do putting the values in the table before this. We're going to use another if statement, because we don't want to do it when the value is 0. We want to do it when the value is 1. So we're going to say if op count 1 is greater than, channel 0 is greater than 0, meaning it's 1 or 2 or 3, new colon, new paragraph, new line, tab in, then we're going to set the value in the combo table, right? This is our combo table. So we point to that combo table by saying op combo. Then we have to point to which row and column we want to put it in. So the first row, there's only one row, so that's going to be 0. Then you say comma, and then we can use the actual value from the count from op count 1 to set the column. So we can say op count 1, single quote, close parenthesis, channel 0, right? But because all tables, they start counting from 0, and we're triggering this. We want 1 to go into that 0 column. We want 2 to go into that number 1 column. We just have to say -1 here. Okay, then we close the bracket. So this looks a little weird, but really essentially what this is doing is it's referencing op combo, and then this bracket here is lined up with this bracket here. And it's pointing to 0, comma, and then the value here, instead of just putting a number, is this equation, op count 1 channel 0 -1. Okay, so that, and then that's referencing the cell, but we have to actually set that value. So we just say we've referenced the cell, and we say that that cell equals the actual button button value 0. Int, op, single quote, button value, single quote, close parenthesis, channel 0. So it's saying we're using the counter to tell what cell to put it in, and the value we're putting in is the channel that's coming out, the channel 0, which is LED whatever, on button value. And this time we definitely want to reference a channel index number instead of the name, because this channel name is going to change depending on whether it's LED1, LED2, or LED3. But it's always going to be, because it's a one channel output, it's always going to be the first channel, which is index number 0. So if I activate this, it'll either work or it'll break. And it breaks. And why does it break? It says column 0.0 not found in table. Why the heck is it column 0.0? Well, by default in TouchDesigner, Python works in floats. And it's really annoying sometimes, but that's the way it works. So even though this is saying a single number here, this is actually 1.0 right now. It's only displaying 1, but as far as Python concerned, it's 1.0. And so when we try to subtract 1 from that, we get 0.0. And then Combo says, I don't know what 0.0 is. I don't have a column called 0.0. So the way we fix that is we cast this value as an integer. So it's really simple, actually. To cast a value as a integer, we just need to use the term int and then put everything that we want to turn into an int in parentheses. So I say int, open parentheses, and then this here. Is that right? No, sorry, that's not right. I mean, we actually don't delete that, leave that, because we want to put an integer in there. We don't want to put a 1.0, a 2.0, and a 3.0, but what we really have to do is do it here as well. This is the actual where the column is specified. Int. So see what I did here? So it should be 0, comma, and then the word int, and then in parentheses, and then that op that we're talking about, then parentheses, and then the closed bracket. That should fix it. So now if I click my button, I get a 1 in that value in the second one. I think it's because I already had incremented the counter. So the next one it should have reset the counter back to 0. And so now when I click the button, it should put it in that first column. So I'm going to click the 1 button. Yeah, there we go. And now if I click the 3 button, you see that that goes into that. And when I click the 2 button, oh, that didn't change because it was already a 2. And if I click the 1 button, it'll put that there. All right? So clicking those buttons, and you can also click your soft buttons over here, should do the same thing. So if I make this active, I can go 1, 1, 1, 1. You can see that those are all changing in that combo table. Okay, so we cast 2 different values as integers. We cast this value here, op count 1, channel 0 minus 1. We cast that as an integer because that's what the table wanted. And then when we actually put that in the table, we casted the actual value as an integer as well, so that we don't get 1.0 here, 1.0, 1.0, 1.0. We just get 1, 1, 1, 1. Okay?
Jackson,
Yes.
can you please show the code one more time?
What was that?
Can you show the code one more time?
Yeah, right here you go. Tell me when I can move on.
Mine is broken. It's pointing to the semicolon after count 1 bracket 0 greater than 0.
It shouldn't be a semicolon, it should be a colon.
Wait, which one is this? It's the point and the comma on the bottom. Is that a colon or something? Oh,
This is a colon, not a semicolon.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Are you good, Amy?
That's okay. You can move on. It's still broken somehow.
Oh.
Thank you.
Well, here, let me.
No, I found it. It was there's a typo in there. Thank you.
Okay, great. Okay, so we got that now. The next thing we want to do is, let's see. The next thing we want to do is determine whether we win or not. Let's see here. And if we win, we make new random combination. Run, delay, silent. Well, where do I set the win, lose? How does win, lose get its value? Well, anyway, let's create a I'm stumped by my own code here. So when it wins, it runs its delay win on and runs delay win off. That turns the green light on and off. It makes a new combination. Then it makes the playback faster. Then it runs the playback. Okay. And then where's the delay win come into it? Then, let's see, then what this does, where's win, lose come into it? I don't even think that does anything. All right, whatever. Let me just move on, and if I'll either run into this problem or I won't. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is we want to one thing I know we want to do is we want to reset the entries. So at the end, whether we win or lose, we want to reset all of our entries back to 0 here, so that every time we don't have numbers in the fields left over from the last 4 digits that we put there, right? So like right now, if I hit 2, for example, It's in the first thing that I hit. Let me just hit 2 again. 2, 2. And I analyze this. It's saying that's wrong, that's right, that's wrong, that's right. If I were to then hit another button like a 3, it would say that's wrong, that's still right, that's wrong, and that's still right, because it still has these numbers from the last time. So on the 4th value, we want to reset all these numbers back to 0 again. Okay, so let's see here. To do that is after this if, or is it part of that? No, it is part of the for. So when it equals 4, we're going to reset the count. We got the reset the counter, that's in there. The next thing we want to do is reset each of those entries. So op combo, it's just combo, 0, 0 equals 0. And then just copy this, paste it, paste it, paste it, and then change this to 0, 1, 0, 2, and 0, 3. Okay, so now, once I get to that 4th value, all of these values should go to 0. Boom, see that? And so I never have leftover values from the last time. And it looks like that 4th value never gets changed. It does, it just gets changed and then set back to 0 within 1 frame. So you won't actually see that 4th value get populated on your screen, but you should still be able to run code before resetting it to 0 that will have that value in there. Okay? So let's see. The next thing we want to do is we are going to, so we're going to do this pretty complicated thing that looks at whether we've won or not. And then runs a delay win or a delay lose. So what I mean by delay win and delay lose, oh boy. There we go, okay. Is we're gonna make that green light, the green light flash after the fact. That's the red light. So if you lose, it'll make that red light flash after the fact telling you you've won. I mean, you've lost. If you win that round, it'll make the green light flash, right? So we're gonna run these delay scripts. And the way you can run a delay script is you have to define it up here before you are looking at on value change or on off to on or any of that stuff. You define what you want to run, which is, where is my picture? There it is. So we call this, I'm going to call this delay win on, because we have to have 2 scripts, one that turns the light on and one that turns the light off. Equals, that's where this win-lose thing comes in. Okay, so actually just pause there for a second. We need to have an override value here to turn these lights on and off before it gets to this chop to. So let's create another constant here. Constant chop. And it's called constant. There you are. We probably aren't going to finish this today, so we'll do as much as we can, and then we'll do the rest as a asynchronous lesson for next week. But we'll get through as much as we can here. All right, so constant. Make this constant have 3 channels, and go ahead and label. See how these are channels: LED 1, LED 2, and LED 3. Let's label these the same: LED 1. LED 2, LED 3. Okay, and instead of calling this constant 1, call this win-lose. Okay, win-lose. And then we want to send this to an override. So coming out of merge here, right click on the output and create an override. You want to make sure that this merge 1 is the top input on this override, not win-lose, because we want it to, by default, select the values coming from merge. Then you can plug in your win-lose. So if for some reason your win-lose has a cable on top of your merge 1, just go ahead and break the cable for win-lose, and then that should and then reconnect it, and that should put it below merge 1. Okay, so these merge together into an override, and then that needs to get sent to the chop2 instead of merge 1. So here on this chop2, I'm going to drag override onto this instead. Okay, or you can just type it in. Chop on this chop2 here needs to be override 4. Okay, so now I can take over these values independent of the button. I can set LED 2 to 2, for example. And why did that break over here? It says delay. Oh, because I didn't define delay, because I left code hanging. That's why it broke. All right, it said, wait, I don't know what delay, you said delay win on equals and then blank. All right, so, sorry. So now, let me set this back to 0 actually. All right, so what we're gonna do with this delay win is we're either gonna set this value 2, which is the green when you win, to 1 and then back to 0 again to make that green light flash, or we're gonna send value 1, this LED 1 channel, which is the red LED, we're going to flash that red LED if you lose. But before we do that, we have to define, because we want this to be delayed by a certain number of frames, we need to define the code up here in quotes. So we say delay win on, and this is, I'm in chop exec 1 right now, which is attached to that counter, right? So delay win on equals quote op win, oops, single quote win, not capital, win lose, single quote, close parenthesis, dot par dot value 1, because it's the second one is the green, because it goes red, green, and blue. Value 1 equals 1. Okay, so I put that in quotes like that. Now I can copy this, because most of them are going to be really close to this. What we're going to do for the win, delay win on, delay win off, delay lose on, and delay lose off, it's all going to be really close to this. So let's just paste this, 2 more, make 4 of them. All right, so this is, we had delay win on, we need delay win off, we need delay lose on, and delay lose off. Whoops, all caps on the off. There we go. And this is going to be par value 1 equals 0. Then lose on will be value 0, because that's the red LED. That's going to equal 1. And then lose off will be value 0, changing to 0. Okay? Does anybody need more time on that? Great. So now we're going to say, now we have to decide whether we won or not. When the counter reaches 4, we're going to look at all the values that we've put into the combo table and ask whether they all equal the number that's underneath them. And this is a pretty long and convoluted formula. Let me see, where is it? Here it is. So we're going to say if, and I think we could do this, I'm going to try this a little bit simpler using ands instead of the way I did it in my notes, because I think it should work. So we're having so after if count 1, channel 0 equals 4. We're going to have another if statement. If op, is that really what I did? Yeah. If op combo single quote 0, channel cell 0, comma, yeah, 0 equals. So we're going to look at cell 0, 0, and we're going to ask it if it equals cell 1, 0, yeah, row 1, cell 0. And we're going to use an and. Because we need all 4 of them to be true. So then just copy this before the and, copy that code and paste it again. And then instead of 0, 0, here we're going to say 0, 1 and 1, 1. And paste it again. 0, 2 and 1, 2. Wait, I think I just messed that up. Hold on. So op 0, 0 equals op 0, 1 and op 0 combo 0, 1 equals combo 1, 1 and op 0, 2 equals op 1, 2 and op 0, 3 equals op 1. Wait, why is it? Ugh. I just kept selecting the wrong thing. So sorry. 0. Oh my gosh. This is so, all right, I need to make this bigger so I can see more of it at once. And let me close this parameter window. All right, so I'm saying if op combo 0, 0 equals op combo 1, 0 and op combo 0, 1 equals op combo 1, 1 and op comma 0, 2 equals op 1, 2 and op combo 0, 3 equals combo op 1, 3. All right, let me see if this works. If it does, I'll put it in the text. I'll put it in the chat, and you guys can just copy it because it's pretty convoluted. But it's a little bit simpler than what I have in my notes, which is actually adding these all together and then seeing if they equal 4. What?
When I got out of it, it broke. It said something about line 20.
Yeah, but we're not done yet. I haven't put it yet. So now we're going to run. So if all of those equal, if all of those are true, then it's going to run when, delay when, run, open parenthesis, delay when on, comma, delay frames equals 30. Let me just, and then run delay when off delay frames 50. All right, let me see if this works. If it does, then I'll just give it to you guys in chat and you can just paste it in. So I need to 1, 2, 3, 2. So 1, whoops, I'm not on the middle. All right, so let me try it again. 1, 2, 3, 2. Yeah, it worked. I saw it flash. Let me try it one more time. 1, 2, 3, 2. Wait, why did that stick a 2 in there? 1, 2, 3, 2. Yes, that totally worked. Okay, great. So here's what you need to, let me put that in the chat. Let me put this weird big long line, this big if statement in the chat. Do I have to stop sharing? I guess I have to stop sharing. Okay. Where's my chat? More chat. There we go. Okay, so that's the line there. If op combo 0, 0 equals op combo 0, 1, 0, and op combo 0, 1 equals op combo 1, 1, and op combo 0, 2 equals op combo 1, 2, and op combo 0, 3 equals op combo 1, 3. So I'm basically just asking if all of those statements are true. That this one equals this one equals this one, this one equals this one, this one equals this one. I know why it's sticking a 2 in there, because when it's flashing that, it's sticking that value in there. Shoot, how do I fix that? Is that really how I have it in my, it might be that I have it differently in my program. Let me see. Because when I flash it, ow. When I flash it, it's sticking a 2 in here when it flashes. And that's why there's a 2 in the combo, as if you entered that. And I'm not sure I remember how I did this before. Maybe I need to, instead of referencing chop2, I need to reference the merge channel. So here in this here.
Jackson, can you share your screen again?
Oh, sorry. Yes. Sorry, I forgot. Thank you for reminding me. Share screen. Okay, so I just figured out why it's putting a 2 in my combo after I win, and that's because it flashed. The 2 is the green light, and when I flash that green light, the way we're flashing that light and the way we're putting values in the table, it's doing the same thing. So when, here we go. Instead of referencing op button value here, I think I need to, wait, what did I do before? Let me open my other version so I can see how I did it before. Just a second. Yeah, so a good quitting place will be if we can get this to tell us whether we win, flash the green light if we win, flash the red light if we lose, and then generate 4 new values. And then for the asynchronous lesson for next week, I'll add the whole like playback mechanism, the whole like Simon playback mechanism. Because it looks like we only have like, what, 10, 12, 15 minutes left. So we should be able to do that as soon as I figure out how to fix this little bug that I'm having. Come on, TouchDesigner, let's go. It takes so long to load things when they get complicated. Come on, load, let's go. It's taking too long. Maybe if I look at my picture, I can figure it out. All right, so in this one, is it letting me control it or not? First of all, let's turn the serial off. There we go. All right, so I have a merge. That's going into the override. That's going into the chop 2. Is that right? What, this chop 2 is referencing the override. All right, so then it must be in how I am populating that combo must be a little bit different. So here's where I'm populating that combo table. And that's where I'm resetting. That's where I'm making a new thing. Okay, here we go. I'm saying int button value 0. Wait. Op count 1 int a button value 0. That's this. That's the that. Is that not what I'm doing on the other one? I must not be. All right, hold on. So here's the other one. I have button value. I wonder if I'm referencing this chop 2 instead of the button value. No, I'm referencing button value. Int combo button value channel 0. Well, then why is oh, I know why. It's what's going into this button value. It needs to be coming from this merge and not from the override. So fix this like this. Get rid of this line. Disconnect. Okay, so this button value here expression needs to be coming from merge 1 and not from override 4. Otherwise, when we send that win blink to it, we're populating the blink as a new value in the table. All right, and we only want to populate a new value from the table when we hit one of these soft buttons or when you hit the physical button on your Arduino. So that's the only thing right here. This button value was connected to override 4. We needed to only be connected to merge 1. Okay, let me close that other. Which one do I have open right now? All right, let's close this one. Don't save, just quit. Okay, here we are, back on track. All right, so let me clear this value out manually. And actually, this probably reset the count. Yeah, let me just manually reset the count. There we go. All right, so now if I do 1, 2, 3, 2, here, let me do a little window. And I'll do it here. I'll do 1, 2, 3, 2. 1, 2, 3, 2. See how it flashes that and then turns it off? That says we won. Okay? So now we need to have an else that says we lose. So we have this crazy if statement, which I gave to you in the chat, right? We're basically just asking if all 4 of these values are equal to the value that's underneath it with ands. The way I did it in my notes is actually I added each one of these. So I had like parentheses around this and said, so this equals this. So that gives us the 1 if it's true. And then I'm adding it to the next condition and adding it to the next condition. And then have parentheses around all of that and ask you if all of those additions added together equals 4. But this is way simpler, which is still pretty complicated, but it's simpler than that. So then we run delay when on with a delay value of 30 frames. So 30 frames, half a second after you've set that last value, it'll flash the green light. It'll turn it on, and then you have to turn it off again 20 frames later. Okay, so then we're going to have an else after this if statement. Else. So else colon run. Oops, sorry. Colon new line. Tab in. Run. Delay lose on. Delay. Oops. Delay frames equals 30. Close parenthesis. Copy that. Paste it. Run delay lose off. Delay frames equals 50. So this is, you have this if here, then an else, and then all of your resetting things. Because it's going to do this if that's true, else it's going to do that. And then regardless, it will always do this stuff down here, which is after the 4th one, it'll reset the counter and reset all of your values to 0. So now, if I do the wrong combination, so it's 1, 2, 3, 2, if I just say 2, 2, 2, 2, see it flashes the red light. 3, 3, 3, 3 flashes the red light. If I wanted to, if I go 1, 2, 3, 2, flashes the green light because we got it right. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
Good. Next thing we want to do is we want to reset these entries. We want to reset the combination if we got it right. We're gonna put a new combination in. So this is the code that we're running if all of that is true, if we got it right. We run delay when on and off. Now we want to make a new random. So this is, let's see, let me put a comment in here. Comment, let's see, flash green light. Now I'm going to make new random combination. All right, so to do that, we need to set the combos row 1, columns 0, 1, 2, and 3 to 3 different random numbers. So op combo, single quote, close parentheses, open bracket, 1, 0, close bracket, equals, and we've done randoms before. Remember tdu.rand abstime.frame, right? It also will create a floating point value, so we want to cast this as an integer the same way as we did up here somewhere, right here. And let's see, int op count 1. We need to do the same thing. Int open parenthesis tdu.rand open parenthesis. Then we have to give it a seed value, and we're going to use the abstime.frame. Abstime.frame. And we need it to be at least 1 and up to 3. So we're going to say times 3 plus 1, close parenthesis. Copy that. paste it 3 more times, so there's 4 of them. This is 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3. And then you have to say here on abstime.frame, you have to say on this one +1, this one +2, this one +3, so that we don't get the same seed, so that we don't get the same random number. All right, so this should give us a new combination when we get it right. So it's currently 1, 2, 3, 2. So if I go 1, 2, 3, 2, boom. Now it's 3, 2, 3, 3. 3, 2, 3, 3. Boom. Now it's 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. Boom. And this is working on the Arduino as well. Like I don't have to click these soft buttons. I can click my Arduino. So now it's 2, 1, 1, 2. 2, 1, 1, 2. Boom. And it tells me I'm right. And then it comes up with new ones. 1, 2, 2, 2, 2. Right? Yeah. So I guess that's all I want to do for today. And then I'll do an asynchronous lesson that does that playback system where it plays back the new combination to you. And each time you win, it plays it back a little bit faster and a little bit faster and a little bit faster to the point where it gets really hard to the difficulty increases the more times you win, right? And then we'll add that little field where you can then slow it down if you want to go backwards and make it easier. All right, so let's take a look at the class website really quick. So I feel like we have like 1 or 2, we have like, how many more weeks do we have? I think we have, next week is week 13, right?
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah, so next week is week 13. And we have 1 extra week that they gave us. Okay, so next week we've already pretty much done I'll update this, but we might want to just start working on our finals because that's about all I want to talk about. Okay, actually, next week I'll cover a subject that you guys want me to cover. And I can show you something. Do we want to take a poll right now and like, what do you guys think you would want to look at next week?
I'd like to learn more about like the generative stuff that people use TouchDesigner for.
Like generative video or?
Yeah, like where they like have it like draws like those big, weird, smoky, cloudy things.
Uh-huh.
That kind of stuff.
Okay.
I'd be interested too. Like anything like more generative of like or randomization stuff. I'm down for it.
Okay. Yeah, generative video synthesis sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, I found the tool really powerful, but apparently I am not the only one that, yeah, it's kind of hard to imagine the possibilities that you have here, right? So anything that you find that can open our path in that way, right, to understand how to use it smartly will be awesome.
Okay. Well, yeah, okay, so how about we do, I'll look for a cool generative thing, and I'll put that up as, so I'll finish this, Simon thing as the first part of the asynchronous lesson, and then I'll get started on a generative thing for the second part of the next week's asynchronous lesson. And then we'll look at that in class next week. And then I think for week 14, what I'd like to do is have that be a lab week. So that's on the 6th of May. And what I would like you to do is by that class, I want you to have something substantially started on your final. You don't have to have your final done, but like have it a halfway done or a quarter of the way done. Enough of something done that I can take a look at what you're working on and give you pointers. And we can spend that class just like looking at each other's what we're working on and like the kind of challenges that we're trying to work through. Because if you're having trouble getting values from an Arduino, or you're having trouble generating random values, then maybe Amy is also having trouble generating random values, and she might benefit from seeing that kind of thing too. And we can just work during the class period on that week on just getting our finals in shape. And then we're going to actually present our finals on the 13th. For next week, there'll be an asynchronous lesson for next week with the generative stuff, and we'll look at it in class. And then the following week, going into week 14, I think we won't have an asynchronous lesson because I just want you guys to work on your finals. And then in class, we'll take a look at what you've done. I'd like you on week 14, on the 6th, show me something, in class along, so you'll be showing all the other students too. Show me something that you've gotten done on your final. So get started on it somehow and have something a little bit substantial. So like if you're having a user interface, maybe you've built your interface and you're just trying to figure out how to actually make that interface do something. Or maybe you start working on an effect, a video effect, and you get that effect kind of working, but you have some problem and you need help on generating a user interface for it or something like that. Make sense?
Yep.
Cool. All right, that's it for now. I will stick around if anybody wants to talk about anything or look at Arduino problems you might have had. I'm available for the next hour or so if you want to meet now, or we can schedule another meeting. I'm going to go ahead and stop screen recording, and we'll see you guys in the next asynchronous lesson, which will be finishing this Simon game and doing generative video. All right.
Thank you, Jackson. I'll be sending you an email soon with the updated information of where I'm at and my final project proposal.
Cool. Thank you. All right. How do I stop share? How do I stop recording? Oh, there it is. All right, cool.